Hello everybody, welcome back to the stream. Yes, Playtest 3 is now live for everyone. So if you've been wanting to try Alchemortis, then head on over to the Steam page that's linked below. And you can see here that the Playtest button is right here. You just click this request access button and it will get immediately added to your library. The wording is a little bit weird. It makes it sound like there's another step, but you just click the button, you get the access immediately, and you can try it out. So yeah, this playtest will be live for everybody now for a week. So definitely give it a shot and leave your feedback in the Discord. All those things are linked below. If you so choose, you can also support me on Patreon. Of course, the Patreon support is greatly appreciated, and you get a number of good perks if you subscribe at this tier, the sponsor tier here. I will send you a Steam key for the full game when the game launches, so you won't need to buy it again on Steam. This is basically like a pre-purchase, and your name will also be listed in the in-game Alchemortis credits as having supported development. So yeah, that is just a little bonus perk for you. And you can also purchase one of my Udemy courses if you are so inclined. That will teach you how to build complete games in the Godot engine. So definitely check it out. And all those links, again, are in the description below. So what we're going to be doing today is I've got a number of bugs to fix. I also fixed a number of bugs yesterday. So, and those went into the playtest build. So I fixed an issue where the Scarecrow was copying the zombie abilities and getting the bonus crit chance and crit mult always present. What that basically ended up being is my copy ability here This was previously duplicating the abilities every time, and there was a data structure in my base card that relied on ability references. But every time this get contextual composed abilities was called, it was creating a duplicate ability, which means that it was basically not found in that data structure. So the conditionality about providing the increased crit chance and increased crit mult was just simply not working. So I had to end up caching these abilities, which is fine. And so that's fixed. Also fixed, I forgot who brought this up, but combat log not resetting its state. If the card that ended the combat log also starts on the combat log, in other words, it's the last and the first card to go. And then I also fixed an issue that no one else reported, but I figured out. There are, when the Inquisition blessing system happens, they can add negative abilities to the combat nodes. And what was happening is every combat node was pulling all of the negative abilities from all of the blessed nodes. So it was like I was 10 nodes away from a blessed node and my cards were being exhausted. And I was like, what the heck? So I noticed that in my playthrough. So I fixed that for the playtest. So all of those fixes are in the playtest build. And so those shouldn't affect you. And then there's a bunch of other bugs here, but this is more relevant to what's currently on master now. And so yeah, we're gonna work on some of that. And then yeah, we'll see how it goes. We will see how it goes. Anyway, hello Clickertail, welcome back. Hello Mabs Games, welcome. Good morning Emerson. And good morning Emerson on the other side. Hello TK, welcome. Wooius, hello. Only 3 fake news. three stream streak. That's awesome though. 3 stream. I like the streaks. That's cool. Hello Diginanigans. Welcome. Hello Freedom Fighter. You're such an amazing developer. It must feel so good to create an original game and release it. Well, it's not released yet, and I wouldn't say it's. Well, yes. I mean, first of all, thank you, but I don't think it's that original. I mean, maybe the presentation is a little bit original in terms of like the theme that the game is wrapped in, but it's an auto battler with like maybe 1 or 2 slightly unique things to it. So I thank you for the comment. And yeah, it does feel good to make games, but it's not released yet. It's not released, so still got a lot of work to do. I'm soon done with my son, so I'll finally have some time to join the playtest. Oh, I read that as son. My project. Okay, gotcha. Woo, playtesting now. Awesome. Let me know what you think, Monkey Software. Would appreciate that. And yeah, if any other bugs come up during this playtest, I will be fixing those for the playtest build as well, but we're going to continue on with the master branch here. Why is this always breaking? That's so annoying. Reload from disk. Okay. So let's take a look. If card tooltips are disabled in run, they will not work in character select. So there's a couple of character select bugs here. Let's fix this one because that one's kind of annoying. So let's do this. Project. Actually, I want to try something. I kind of want to try something. Let me go to my project. Godot. I wonder if I can do this. I'm going to take my game section here, and I'm going to put this up above the application instead, so I don't have to scroll down all the way in that menu. I wonder if that's going to work. Let's see. Oh, while I'm in there, actually, there's also this annoying thing got reordered. Wait, what the heck? Don't tell me it reset it. Oh, that doesn't work? Dang, I thought I was being clever. Oh, is it sorted alphabetically? It's sorted alphabetically. Wait, that doesn't make any sense though. Because it's not sorted alphabetically in the list. because I know the .NET. Okay, let's try this. We're gonna just goof off a little bit here. We're not gonna take it so serious. A game. We'll just make it. We'll do that. I actually have never like really messed around with this. This might actually sort it before application, but that would be okay too. Okay, and then I want to also enable test player artifacts. That needs to be there. Okay, let's see what happens. I've never actually done this before, so that would be kind of funny if it worked. What the heck? It just puts it at the bottom by default. Well, I guess that's not going to work. Oh well. I tried. Queued remote Steam download from work. We'll try Playtest tonight. Awesome. Yeah, you should probably do that because the game's like 500 gigabytes, so get it started as early as possible. I'm just kidding. I think it's 500 megabytes, which is kind of a lot, but all of that is basically sound effects. So I may take, when we get closer to release, I may take some efforts to compress that down because they're all WAV files. The big offenders are the music tracks, which are like, I think there's a 4-minute music track, which is like 50 megabytes. So that's like 500 times as much as like all of the art combined. Probably more. It might be 5,000 times the art combined. That one track. Hello, Ninja Link. Good morning to you as well. It's time for Game Dev once again. Welcome back, Jackie Daytona. Where's the devlog? I love the new format, by the way. The devlog is releasing on this channel, on the YouTube channel, in 2 minutes. So it's almost there. Did an abomination build in yesterday's live stream, barely won, but it worked. Though I was unlucky and didn't get the artifact that boosts a single minion on the board. That would have been perfect. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I think I need to... So I started working on this card inspection tool. And the whole point of this tool is this is going to allow me to better assess what synergies do and don't exist. So I still haven't built out like being able to search by ability type yet. But I have a much easier time like looking at all the relics or the ritual cards or the weapon cards, and I could see, okay, maybe I don't have as many weapons as I need. You know, like I have a lot of minion cards. I don't have so many reagents yet. Relics, there's a healthy amount of relics, but a lot of these are enemies as well. So if I just do ally and I look for my relics, you know, you see it's like there's not a whole lot going on here. So like there's not too many weapon cards for the player. There's quite a few alchemical cards. But yeah, so this is what this card inspection tool is for, and so I should be able to kind of assess, and especially when I add like ability filters in here, I should be able to more accurately assess like what build archetypes are missing or are not as well supported, and we can, you know, address that. So there's all kinds of room, lots of new content to go, and yeah, it's 12 terabytes, yeah. Played Alchemortis to get chicks. I played 10 times, still no chicks, but you still got Alchemortis. That's the important thing. That's the important thing. Can't open Alchemortis on Mac. OS error 256. Interesting. I'll have to take a look at that. What Mac version are you on? K's Yoshi? Are you going to implement this in the game, like a bestiary of sorts? Yeah, there will be an encyclopedia or a bestiary. It will not be presented like that. That's just an internal tool. But there will definitely be, I think just part, like, there will just be, yeah, like a codex or something where you can read about all the cards you've discovered. Mac OS Tahoe 26.2. Is that the latest one? Okay. Well, I have a MacBook, so I'll have to test it out. I'm sorry that doesn't work. It should. We'll see. Not sure if I found a bug or not, but I posted a video on Discord. Okay, I'll take a look. Yeah, only with the cards discovered, right? Yeah. I can check my MacBook to see if it's affected as well. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. It was working. I mean, the previous version of Alchemortis, the previous playtest worked on Mac, at least my Mac, but we will see. Okay, anyway, let's get into, well, I will save this. Enable test player. Oh wait, why do I have 2 instances open? That's not good. It worked previously for mine as well. Project settings. Let's see if this worked. Enable test player artifacts. Yeah, look at that. All right, we're good. Having a fully featured bestiary with filters and such would be really nice for theory crafting. Yeah, for sure. That's definitely something that I want to add. I want to have like a whole encyclopedia in the game that not only contains the cards, but also like explains the mechanics like in a much greater level of detail. So like how exactly does the card execution order work, and like how does the ability execution order work, and like what exactly happens when echo occurs, and what exactly happens when swarm occurs, you know. So I think there's like a high level understanding, which is what's presented in the game, but for the people that want to actually know like in a fine level of detail how that whole system works, I want to offer that information in the encyclopedia so that players who are so inclined can really understand like how the systems are actually working. Should have stayed with Sequoia, I'm sorry, yeah. Maybe it builds out only with cards you've seen in previous runs. Yeah, I think that would be cool. I think that would be cool for sure. Okay, all right. So what's this bug I need to do? After selecting a character, entering a run, and quitting to menu. I think that's kind of a wrong bug description because it just breaks immediately. But we're going to turn off skip menu, and we'll go ahead and take a look at the bug here. Do you know of the Timmy, Johnny, and Spike archetypes of players? I have never heard that. No, I don't know. So these characters are not moving back into their original positions for some reason. So let's go to the character select. Well, first let me say reorder debug settings. And by the way, I merged those alchemy tweaks that we were working on yesterday into master, so those are now in the game. Probably will need to be some more work done on that, but we will see. Anyway. Selectable character to marker minus selectable character to position offset. Let's take a look at the actual character select screen. So the markers are still in the right place. Priestess marker, character staging marker. So setup characters, selectable character to marker, selectable character. Okay. Well, I don't really know what's going on here. Move character to original position. If his instance valid, selected character. Move character to original position, selected character. Tween action. Character tween dot chain. Do I need this to chain? I don't know why that's here. Position, target position, travel time, ease out, sign, delay. Okay. Oh, I know what's happening. This character tween is being shared between all characters. So I actually need this to be, yeah. This needs to be a dictionary of selectable character to cleanup tween. Character tweens. They're sharing the same tween, so they're canceling each other. So, selectable character. No. Character tweens dot try get value. Out var character tween. Actually, I'm just not going to worry about that. Var character tween is equal to character tweens. I'm just going to assume here that the tweens are always available. And what I'll do is when I set this up, I will just populate every key with null. And that should be fine. Okay, so we've got that. So we got setup characters. Where's that? Character tweens selectable character equals null. Oh, and I need to reassign that too. So anywhere where I've changed this, maybe we could just make this a separate private void reset character tween for selectable character. Selectable character. We're going to do kill is equal to let's return the cleanup tween here, and we'll say new tween equals cleanup tween.create new tween, return new tween. Actually, is this going to work? Execute cleanup. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Well, this is kind of not going to work then. Never mind. I need to be able to pass the cleanup in here. Character tween that kill, create that. Character tweens, selectable character equal to character tween. And then where else do we have this? Here. Nope, that's right. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, let's see what that does. It's from Magic the Gathering, types of players. Timmy wants big cards that look impressive. Johnny wants to do cool synergies. Spikes wants to win. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't really think about... I mean, admittedly, I'm not really thinking exactly like about what synergies are available. I mean, obviously I am to some degree, but I kind of want to keep it as generalized as possible. And I'm kind of trying to avoid designing explicitly for certain synergies or certain archetypes. And maybe that's a mistake. Like, I'm totally open to the possibility that that's not the way to approach it and that I should be starting with the archetypes and then designing for them. But I'm just trying to just add a ton of interesting abilities to the game, which all have different scalings and different behaviors, and then just let the players use those tools and just build whatever they want. But like I said, that's possibly a mistake, and obviously I am going to want to do, like, obviously to the extent that I have abilities that scale off of fire, but I don't have enough fire cards, then I obviously want to add more fire cards, right? Like, So if I build a card with an ability that's supposed to scale on something, I do need to make the abilities that it scales off of relatively common as well. But yeah, like whether I design for certain archetypes, I don't know. I don't know if I should be doing that. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. The Timmy, Johnny, and Spike are all player profiles, as in archetypes for what kind of player may play your game. Okay, so they're like user personas from the software world. Okay, so this is working now. Cool. So we fixed that. So we fixed the shared character tweens. Done. If card tooltips are disabled in run, they will not work in character select. So I think what I'll do for that is options utils dot is card tooltip disabled equals false. To do make card tooltip disabled isolated to run rather than global. Okay. So I don't really care about testing that, to be honest. I'm pretty sure that's going to fix it. We're doing YOLO mode here. I do have a plan to handle that better, but that's going to be part of a broader like options rework. There's some like settings that need to be isolated to the run, and then there are settings that need to be global, right? So the global settings would be like, what is your full screen or windowed mode? What is your sound effects, music volume, that kind of thing. But I just don't feel like setting that up right now, so I have to change the global value in here when we get to the character select, which is fine, but I do want to change that at some point. Okay, blood particles after battle 1 show on top of alchemy menu. Easier to notice in larger enemy boards, but I guess video highlights it enough. So that one, yeah, had an accompanying video. Let me see where those blood particles are done. Personas, okay, gotcha. How long have you been working on the game? Since March of last year. So we're approaching 1 year of development. Isn't that crazy? But I think, yeah, I think I definitely want to release the game this year. The optimistic timeline is within the first half of the year, but that may not happen because I still have to do a real marketing effort and everything. But I think we're kind of like I said, we're kind of like in the home stretch where like a lot of the core game design issues are being resolved, and now it's just a matter of building all the remaining supporting systems like the meta progression, multiple characters, things like that. And so I think the next stage of development is like to try to get the game into a quote unquote finished state where all of the supporting systems are in place, and then any further game design tweaks or reworks can happen after that, right? But I think the game is like, it's largely solidified. I'm still not happy with how the map traversal works. There's something off about it, but I haven't really come up with any good ideas of how to tighten that down. But I think that's probably going to be the next major area of focus. So we've been focusing a lot on getting the alchemy to feel very, very good and be very useful, and removing all the disincentives to use alchemy and so on and so forth. So I think the next major point of focus is going to be the map, because it's a little bit, I don't know, there's just, like I said, there's just something weird about it. Like you have to continually move northward, but there's not a whole lot of pressure there. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, hey, that's my bug. Also saw you fix the other one with the combat log. Yes, I did, yeah. The combat log one was an easy fix. The combat log has an internal state machine, and when the combat ended, it was just remaining in whatever state it was previously. So the fix for that was just to, whenever combat ends, to switch it back into the default state. And the default state then handles everything properly from that point, because that's the state that it starts in when you first start the game, is the default state. And so just making sure that the state is being updated on combat end back to the default state, and it's fixed. I can't complete the tutorial. I don't have enough alchemy residue to unlock the first expansion slot. You can do alchemy again. Do you not have enough cards to do alchemy again? But that's the second person that says that he can't get to the tutorial, like they think they're stuck. Maybe you are stuck, I don't know, but the tutorial should give you enough cards that you can actually get the alchemical residue you need. I just watched the playtest video, great editing. Oh, I'm glad you liked it. Thank you, Zachary. I figured that, yeah. My big problem with the map is that there's a good cluster of nodes at the bottom. You either go at them and trigger the boss and be stuck in the same zone, or ignore them to race to the top, but then it feels like you miss out on the nodes. You can get stuck if you sell all the cards. Cards selling is disabled in the tutorial unless that broke. Let me just check it real quick. The unlock slots should be cheaper in just the tutorial. So yeah, the sell board is disabled here. There's no way to get rid of cards except through alchemy, and I'm pretty sure I'm providing enough cards to have enough to unlock. The reason I don't want to change the unlock slots to be cheaper is I don't want to give the player the wrong impression about how much they cost. Although I guess that wouldn't be a problem, because you can't skip it and you can get stuck at that if you don't alchemize the right cards. Well, let's just go through this. Let me just see. Is it even possible for me to alchemize? Like, I'm going to try to alchemize in a way that I get the minimum number of the minimum amount of alchemical residue. So let's see. I'll do this and I'll do that. And I will do this. And then I will take the skeleton warrior, so I only get one alchemical residue. Okay. Then I go here and I beat this one. Yeah, it should be impossible to end up with less than 3 alchemical residue. So I could take, let's just take this one. But now I'm guaranteed, like, my next alchemy, I can't get anything less than 2 alchemical residue. So if I do this and I do that, there's 3, and I do this and I put this down here, right? So unless I'm missing something, it should be impossible to be unable to do alchemy in a way that you end up with not enough residue. Wait, the tutorial isn't part of the playtest yet, right? Wait, expanding your board takes out chemical residue. I think I might have an old version somehow. The tutorial is part of the playtest, yes. Maybe if you still had the game installed, you didn't get the update yet. I didn't realize you get residue for sacrificing. Feels kind of bad sacrificing new cards. Yeah, I mean, but you get a stronger card out of it. I mean, the alchemy system has been updated even since the playtest, but the point of alchemy is that you're not really losing a card, you're just taking its power and putting it on a different one. And just for the purpose of the tutorial, like, yeah, I force you to do that, but you don't have to do that until you need residue in the game. So, yeah, the tutorial is not like... The tutorial is very on-rails guided. It's forcing you into certain decisions because it's a tutorial, but you don't have to do that stuff in the real game. Update queued and I didn't realize it, yeah. Yeah, make sure to get the update, otherwise you'll be on the very old version of the playtest if you still had it installed. So, I mean, maybe there's something I can do to smooth out that tutorial, but like, I think, you know, this tutorial is going to have to naturally just force you down a path that you may not want to do, but it's just a tutorial, right? It's like, here's how the mechanics work. It's not a real run, you know. Hello, V. Welcome. Maybe it takes 3 to unlock a slot for this tutorial, trying to do 3 dust kind of thing. Yeah, I could do that too. But again, like, it's not, I don't think it's possible to get less than 3 residue. And I did handle the case where if you unlock a slot before that step in the tutorial, that step in the tutorial will just be skipped, so you don't get locked there. Anyway, test player cards, let's do off. Okay, what was I doing? Blood particles after battle 1. Let's see if we could fix this easily. This might not be such an easy fix. This might not be such an easy fix, but let's see. I don't remember. I don't remember. I don't remember what that effect is called. I guess I can go to my effect scenes here. Enemy defeated. Here we go. Okay, where is this used? So the enemy defeated particles are on the run manager? That seems kind of weird. Starting blood? Oh, that's not a thing anymore. I can get rid of that. Oh, you know what? Well, it's fine. I was going to say I could fix this on the playtest branch, but it's not really that big of a deal. I'll just fix it on the master branch. Why are the enemy defeated particles here and where are they getting added? Effects.add child enemy particles. Is this player board even used? I guess it is. Oh, so I'm removing the player board. Okay, maybe I should restructure this a little bit. That seems kind of weird. Let's not load this as a placeholder, and let's do this. And then in the drawer UI here, let's do node private board player board gameplay.board. So player board accesses unique name. I don't know why I don't know why the player board is here. is combat board, so I need to check that on. Okay. So then if I go to my drawer UI, I should be able to just do public gameplay.board player board. Like so, and then we can get rid of that from the run manager. I don't know why this is here, so we'll get rid of this. Okay, and then we're gonna have to change this everywhere. So where is my player board? We'll get rid of this. This should make more sense. Create player board. I think register turn manager should go in here as well. Okay. var player board is equal to drawer UI.player board. Set max health. Let's rename this to, this is not creating a board. Set up player board. We don't want to remove the parent. We don't want this anymore. We don't need a reference to the board container in the drawer UI. I don't know why I was doing all this. Okay. Player board, drawer UI.player board. Drawer UI.player board. Okay, hopefully that's a little bit more sensible. It seems okay. Let me see if I just go through the steps of dying a little bit here. Close. Yeah, even if you put multiple cards, you get more residue, so not sure how to replicate. Alchemortis crashes on launch for my MacBook, OS error 256, Tahoe 26.2. Okay. Would you be able to share the logs with me, Jackie Daytona? I mean, maybe Godot won't have any logs, but would you be able to check? It's the quickest bug I found ever. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully the Mac OS issue is straightforward to resolve. Yeah, hopefully. I have my MacBook, so I might have to play with that this afternoon and see what's going on there. It was working in the previous playtest, so I don't know. I don't know what happened. I mean, I did update to Godot 4.6. So yeah, we'll have to see. I wonder if there's oh, I love Godot, but man, there's a lot of like weird crashes and stuff that happen sometimes that are just very difficult to resolve. Anyway, let's see if I die and this player board setup is still correct. Yeah, okay. So I see the bug there. Let me die to this, hopefully. Oh, I did not die to that. Okay. Happy Friday. Yes, indeed. Welcome, Jehar. Okay. All right. That is working. So oh, the style and color palette. What font is that? Hello, aim for the head. It is Soft Square. It's a font called Soft Square. So it's here. Soft Square. So yeah, I like it. It's pretty good. All right, so we didn't really fix this issue. Blood particles after battle 1 show on top of the alchemy menu. So the problem here is that this effects node is where everything's getting added. But it's only used for the enemy death particles. So I think there's probably a better way to do this. Maybe I could just move this effects here. Although I really don't want the enemy death particles being driven by the run manager here. So, I mean, yes, I think it would be better to just drop this here. I think that would fix it, but I think I want to do something slightly different. Like I might just do the effects node here. I think this would be slightly better. Public void play enemy defeated particles vector 2. Do I need to do this? Private node 2D effects. Let me see something. Okay, well, that's right. Private const string enemy defeated. Effect equals enemy defeated. Effects.add child particles. Particles at global position is equal to enemy board dot center position. Okay, so that should work. Then if I go to my run manager, Get rid of effects here. Game UI dot play enemy defeated particles enemy board. And we can get rid of this. And we can also get rid of the export here. We don't need that anymore. Let's see what that does. Yeah, you're welcome. Aim for the head. Can't stop myself adding new bone groups to my meshes skeleton. Hello, Vin. Welcome to the stream. All right, let's see if that works, I guess. So this should hopefully put those in the correct draw order now. Let's just see. Yeah, that works. So now the blood particles appear behind and they're still being drawn, so that's good. The blood will still appear in front, but the blood does need to be on top of the drawer UI because it's going over here. So that's all right. Oh, I died. That's not good. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. All right. That's done. Move enemy death effect out of run manager. Okay, that's done. All right, let's fix cards rewarded from combat do not scale in tier. So let's figure out where that is. That should make a huge difference in the game as well. So we'll see. Yummer has got to be absent for the rest of February. Oh, well, thank you for the IDR 20,000. Very much appreciate that, Snupbill. It's always very generous. And yeah, I hope your February goes well. I hope everything's good. And I will be waiting for your return. I've been here before. I usually just go to sleep now. By now, though. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yummers times 2. Yeah. Yummers times 2. Okay. Let's take a gander. Let's see. How's my devlog doing? Okay, not bad. Okay. What else? So yeah, we need to look at the cards not dropping with tier. So let me look at my booster configuration, actually. Okay, so the tier... What if I should just move this? Public bool upgrade tier. Get init. Actually, let's do this. Public int target tier. Then we'll go into here when we pick cards, pick modified cards. If args dot target tier dot has value, we're going to copy this. We do need the RNG in here, which we have. args.rng.randf var tier is equal to args.targetTier.value. For each var card in cards. I don't need to do increment tier here. I could just do card.set tier, final tier. I don't need to do this loop here. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing in here. Oh, I'm not passing in. Am I using this anywhere? Okay, that's probably fine. So we'll just leave this here. And then when we go to the booster configuration here, instead of doing this, we will say target tier is equal to tier, and that should automatically upgrade them for me. And now I could use that same logic for the combat rewards. So combat configuration. Card reward RNG. Pick modified cards. Here we go. Do I have the tier listed here? Where am I actually assigning the tier to the cards? Where is this actually happening? That combat configuration. Mapnode.tier. I want to update this as well for the shop, so let's try that. Pick modified cards. Pick args. Target tier is equal to node.tier. So I should be able to get rid of this. Yeah, that'll work. So we're kind of standardizing the upgrading of cards, but I don't know where the tier for The combat node is set. Node.setTier. Oh, okay, okay. Oh, we have the node in here. Okay. Hard reward RNG. Am I storing the configuration? I'm not storing the tier. So the generation args, the node is coming in here. Guaranteed reward cards. I think this is only used for the tutorial, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So we don't necessarily need to worry about that. Pick modified cards, pick card arg. So we need the tier in here somewhere. I guess I'll just... Let's see, generate combat configuration, return combat configuration. Where is this used? Run manager, combat configuration, get rewards. Okay. Yes, we could just do... we could just do private int tier, like so, and then when we generate the combat configuration, we will return tier is equal to args.node.tier, generate boss configuration, tier is equal to args. Oh, it doesn't have... Oh, right, because it doesn't have a node. Interesting. So we need to figure out what to do about the tier here. Get combat tier for score. Unbiased score, desired score. Generate boss encounters. So we have the biased score here. So let's do highest scores in region. Filtered nodes dot select. Grab these. Dot max x dot biased score. Okay. And then fit to score, we're going to do highest scores in regions dot biased. Wait a minute. Oh no, this is highest score in region. Oh, this max selects the maximum value. Can I not do a max that returns the whole object? I would like to return the whole object. Let's see. Anyway, hope your game goes well and take care. Y'all see in March, if anything. All right, sounds good. Thank you, Snup Bill. Zach and friends, welcome. Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Just watched the playtest video. Very nice. Can't wait to try it after work today. Awesome. Thank you. Watch the playtest video, and the machine gun Snowcat is so insane to see. I want to make a build like that. Yeah. Yeah, that was really funny. Machine gun Snailcat. Hello, Chris. Good morning. My game just crashed on Windows. Not sure I sent you the details. If you go to app data, the app data folder, and look for Alcamortis and Alcamortis logs, you can send those to me in the Discord. Sorry, weird question. Would Alcamortis work on Steam Deck right now? No, it would not. There's no controller support at all. So, unless there's a way to use the Steam Deck in like mouse mode or something. Let me ask the AI here. Ask 5.2, is there a link method that works like Max but returns an object instead of an integer? You can emulate a mouse with Steam input. Okay. Then maybe it will work. Oh, max by. Thank you. Okay, so we got the highest scores in region. Scores in region dot biased score. Public required int unbiased score. Get init. Get out of here. Unbiased score is equal to highest scores in region dot unbiased score plus that. Okay. Additional score. Okay, that works. So now in the boss generation args up here, I have the fit to score, but then the tier is going to be description utils get no difficulty score dot get combat tier for score args dot unbiased score. We'll see if that works. This tier is not used anywhere, right? Because I need to pass that in now to get cards. Get reward cards, target tier equals tier. Okay, did I break anything? Let's see. Steam Deck has a mouse mode, but it would be a terrible experience. Wonder if the touch screen would work. At least for left clicks and dragging cards, you would still need to use a trigger for right click inputs, right? I pushed a community template for Steam Deck for Alcamortis, but it still needs some tweaking. It emulates the mouse and keyboard. Awesome. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, if you guys try it with the mouse and keyboard input, let me know how it works. I'd be very curious to hear that. But obviously, like, the game is going to come with... the game is going to come with controller support when it launches. So the goal is to make it, like, playable on Steam Deck right from the start. So now I kind of have to just go through and find some higher tier combat nodes. Actually, since I'm just going to be testing that, let's just add God mode here. Is there anything major to know about using C# and Godot? I've been using GDScript just out of habit, but I never use the Godot text editor. Do you use it for performance reasons or language maturity? Yeah, mostly just language maturity. It's just personal preference. There's lots of tools available in C#. And makes it easier to build a game like Alcamortis for me anyway. Okay, that's a tier 2 combat, so I should see upgraded cards if I go to that tier 2 combat now. Get sold, get sold. I'm testing right now on Linux native build. Is it working? So I've kind of made a realization the other day, which is that I wonder if part of the problem is compiling or building the game, rather exporting the game. I'm exporting the game in a Linux headless environment with GitHub Actions. And I came to the realization the other day that maybe the shader baker is not working in that environment because it's headless. I don't know, like it's so hard to find information on this, but there's a shader baker which will precompile the shaders for the platform. If I'm doing it on Linux, it only precompiles shaders for Vulkan. But then there's a question of, does the shader precompilation even happen in a headless environment? Which may not be the case. So I need to investigate that. I didn't find any information online about that, but part of me wonders is if some of the crashing is happening because of that. I suppose I could turn the shader baker off. The other option, yeah, is to turn the shader baker off and to write my own shader precompilation step when the game loads. But yeah, I need to, that's something that I thought of last night, and I was like, I wonder if this is being I mean, at the very least, I wonder if the shader baker's even working, you know? It's certainly not working on Windows because I switched Windows to D3D12 as the rendering driver, I think it's as it's referred to. And I found out last night that the shader baker will not precompile shaders for D3D12 if you're doing it from Linux. So at the bare minimum, I need to move the Windows builds to a Windows runner in GitHub Actions. But that still leaves the question of if the shaders are being even precompiled to begin with in the headless environment. Well, it didn't crash, that's good. By the way, when streaming on Twitch, I cannot choose Alchemy Mortis as a category game being played. Is this something you have control over? Basically, Alchemy Mortis is insertable, findable on Twitch. I don't know if I have control over that, but since the game is not available anyway, I don't know if that category would be super helpful. Linux native worked fine during my playtest other than the one crash which I mentioned in the notes I sent you. Yeah, I don't know if that... I have a feeling that crash is due to something wrong with Godot 4.6. There's a DirectX on Linux, so I don't know what other shaders there are to bake. It bakes the Vulkan, shaders for Vulkan. Yes, but there's only Vulkan. Yeah, it's only Vulkan. So the way that it works is that when you use the shader baker, it only precompiles shaders for the environment that you're running in. So you can't precompile the shaders for DirectX or D3D or whatever that's called from a Linux environment because there's only Vulkan. So the shader baker is definitely not working for Windows because I have the rendering driver set for D3D12. If I were to use Vulkan on the Windows build, then it would work. It would precompile the Vulkan shaders. Yeah, I'm trying to, yeah, so all of the builds are happening in a Linux headless. But what I might do, and what might be the smart thing to do, is build each individual one on its respective platform in CI, just to avoid those issues. But again, that I wouldn't do that until I've nailed down whether the shader baker is even working in a CI environment. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a pain in the rear. Anyway, so this was a tier 2 combat, I believe. No, I didn't get to the tier 2 combat yet. Here's the tier 2 combat. So let's see if this drops higher tier. Oh yeah, look at that. Now I've got an upgraded skeleton dragon. Let's see, let's go to this combat now. This might throw the balance of the game off a little bit, but the important thing is now we're getting cards upgraded as a result of the rewards. Well, not in those two combats, but generally speaking, that should be the case. There's one. This is looking pretty good, actually. I would say so. Look at that. I got a tier 3 skeleton mage. So that should be a good source of cards that are actually upgraded. So that was a big problem, especially later into the game. You weren't getting upgraded cards. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to fix that for the playtest. Just because I don't want to make any super radical changes. Now that it's out for a week, I'd like to keep it as frozen as possible, but that is fixed for all future versions of the game now, at least. I just want to see what happens when I go to the boss now. See what kind of cards I get. Have played through the whole tutorial. Awesome. Yeah, this seems reasonable. I think that pacing is good. Now let's see what kind of cards I get here. Oh yeah, look at that. Tier 2 cards. All right, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Let me just look at this. Does that tier start run map node? The tier starts at 0. Okay. That makes sense. Does it make sense? No, this tier starts at 1. Oh, I think this might actually be wrong. I'm going to rename this. Is this ever set to 0? Set tier. Maybe this is never set to 0. Let's see. Compute tier for a node. I actually don't know how this works. Oh, it is increasing the tier by 1. Okay, so maybe I actually have a problem here. Hold on a second. I gotta get my tiers straight here. On event entered, yeah, so the tier could be 0, but the card tiers need to be set at 1. Okay. So I actually think I have a problem here. Actually not sure. Yeah, the card tier should be a non-zero value. Is this actually setting cards to tier 0? Wait a minute. I gotta figure out how this is happening. I don't know if this is working the way that I want it to. So this booster... Let's go to my booster configuration. Let's just attach this. I'm not sure if my tier data is correct here. Okay, target tier has value, it's 0. Tier for each of our card in cards. Max additional tier 0, final tier 0, set tier to 0. So it is setting the tier to 0, which is not ideal. So maybe, are these tier 0? Oh, they are tier 0. Okay, so I need to fix that. I'm glad I checked that. I guess I don't need that. Let's rename this to node tier. We can rename this to, that's probably fine actually. This probably needs to account for the tier as well. To do roughly match tier of inputs. Okay, so that's going to increase the card scaling a little bit, I think, but that's all right. How can you balance everything? Playtesting. That's why we're doing a playtest. Just playtest, find what incentives and disincentives exist, figure out which cards are just overwhelmingly favorable, and then just address those things one at a time. That's basically it. It's a lot of subjectivity, obviously, but yeah, it's like it's more of an art than a science, I think. You just kind of like build your game, build the systems, and then see how players interact with it. And if there's problems, then you just implement tweaks to address those problems. So I think there are some balance issues in the game right now, for example, but we'll be taking steps over the next couple of weeks to fix those things. Hopefully smooth out the game quite a bit. And of course, I have to do a lot of playtesting myself as well, which is great. Like, I was playing the playtest build for the devlog video, and yeah, I found myself making a lot of interesting decisions and like having to be careful about how I place my board. And I actually lost to the second boss because I didn't really do a good job with my build. Okay, this is looking fine to me, I guess. Let's go to the combat tier 2 now. Let's see what kind of cards I get here. So these are all going to be upgraded now. So I may need to flatten or reduce the max combat tier a little bit, so that you don't get super powerful cards as early as that, but it's okay. All right. Make combat rewarded cards have tiers. Okay, that was the last bug that I had written down. I'm sure there's more in the Discord right now if I looked, but I guess if it doesn't conflict with your NDA, does Steam as a platform now nudge you into providing native Linux builds now? I have not seen that, no. I haven't seen that. There's no pressure to produce any particular builds. I mean, you could just throw a build up for Mac only if you wanted to. I don't really see any warnings or anything like that, and I don't think it's required to launch your game on Steam that you support certain platforms. I think the only requirement is you just have to support at least one platform, right? But I haven't looked at it too carefully. But no, I haven't noticed any pressure to include native builds, but might as well do it, right? Because Godot makes that easy. They see the bugs I'm fixing. Morning, afternoon, keep up with the good work, brother. Thank you, Julio. Appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. And welcome to the stream. I've lost to the first boss a few times while attempting to figure out how to use certain cards and their combinations. Second boss usually isn't too bad unless I've gotten really unlucky. Good, yeah. There's still like a lot of pacing issues and balancing issues that I want to address for sure, but the most important part is that it's getting better. It's getting better every month, so it's moving in the right direction. It's just a matter of iterating over and over and over again and like refining it down. Game is amazing. Looking forward to it. Thank you. Yeah. I would think that they want to push Linux now with all their game console hardware being based on it. Yeah, but they also are developing Proton, right? So they're working hard to make it so that Windows games can run on Linux no problem. Which I guess they made the calculation that that's easier than trying to get all of these developers for their entire giant library of Steam to like push native Linux builds. I guess it would make sense for new builds, but you know, if you're already making Proton to support all of the games that are Windows only on your library, then it doesn't seem like it'd be a big issue going forward that it would just also support those ones, right? But I don't know. Game seems to be working fine on Steam Deck. The controls are definitely cumbersome, but it's completely playable. Awesome. No performance issues. Is it stable 60 FPS? I mean, I would assume so. Like, this game is not super heavy. I mean, I do have a number of shaders going on, but again, the shaders are like super low resolution, right? Like the most heavy shaders in the game are working on a 640 by 360 canvas, which is the window resolution or the canvas resolution. So hello, Champ Grammar. I'm coming from Udemy. I am going to buy 2D platformer, roguelike and online multiplayer roguelike. Those three cores. But I want to connect with you, man. Well, welcome to the stream. Great to have you here. And thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, completely stable so far. Excellent. Good. Once we figure out these crashes and whatnot, which is making me nervous because I don't know how I'm going to fix that. I have a feeling it's something to do with 4.6, so we'll see if 4.6.1 or whatever fixes any of those crashes, and if not, then I can always go back down to 4.5. Like, that wouldn't necessarily be a problem. But we'll see. And it's possible I may be able to find a workaround, but anyway, I'm going to take a quick 3-minute break, and then when I come back, we'll find something else to work on. So give me just 3 minutes, and we'll continue on. It's me, your favorite niche e-celeb. I'm back. Anyway, I want to learn Godot one-on-one. Is that possible? If you're asking if it's possible to have one-on-one sessions with me, the answer there is no, but I'm sure you can find somebody who could tutor you on Godot. The reason I don't do one-on-one sessions is just because it's not scalable and there's an opportunity cost to it. So what I mean by that is, like, even if I charged for tutoring sessions, there would be an upper limit to how much I could earn from that, right? Even if I worked for 24 hours, that's the cap. That's how much money I can make in a day, which is why selling courses is a little bit more appealing, because those will just sell and multiple students can be taking that at once and can be being taught by me at once. And once I've done the course, I don't have to dedicate much time at all to maintaining it. And then the opportunity cost that I mentioned is, like, every hour I spend tutoring is an hour I can't work on Alka Mortis, right? Is an hour I'm not working toward getting my next Steam game released. So between the opportunity cost and the fact that it doesn't scale, that's why I've never done like one-on-one tutoring sessions. So it's nothing personal. It's just not, the economics of it don't work. Is basically it. Okay. But if you have questions, like I'll say this too, like if you have questions, you can drop questions into the Udemy Q&A. You can always email me if you have a specific question. You can join the Discord and ask questions of the people there. And if I know the answer to your question, I'll pop in and try to answer it as well. So yeah, I mean, you have the opportunity to ask questions for sure. But yeah, full-on tutoring sessions are not in the cards. Okay. Let's see. Oh, that's done. So interesting. I don't really have any big things left in the backlog. So we've got a couple of things to do. Let me think. Well, we could do some new content. I do need to start working on like a meta progression system. I do need to start thinking about how I'm going to streamline the map experience a little bit more. Meta progression would be interesting to work on. The problem is I don't really have any good ideas on how that would work. People love trees. I think what I was going to do is do it based on like achievements. So I was going to have like certain conditions when if you meet them, you would unlock certain things. I think that's the way to go. Could charge an amount that would make it worth like $500 an hour. I guess nobody would pay that though. Yeah, probably not. Probably not. I wouldn't feel that great charging that much either. I feel like that's just way too excessive. Hello, Neozoid. Welcome. Okay. Well, maybe we could just do... I have some reagents that I want to do. Maybe we'll just do some reagents. Modify turn cooldown. That would be a good one. Guarantee added ability. Modify turn cooldown. Maybe we'll do that. What kind of theme do we want to have it? Maybe sulfur? Or maybe sulfur is better for like something fire related. Modify turn cooldown. We could do like fairy wings maybe. That would be kind of fun. All right, fairy wings reagent. Modify turn cooldown. I already answered the question, Champ Gamer. So you could go back in the VOD and watch. Hello, Artem. Okay. Hello, Francesco. I'm following your Survivor-like tutorial on Udemy. Just wanted to say it's really well structured, and thanks for that. I'm able to really work with composition. Excellent. Yeah, glad to hear that. Glad you're enjoying it. Okay, let's do the card creation tool. Fairy wings. We don't have a whole lot of, actually, I can use my card inspection tool. We don't have a whole lot of 1x2 reagents, I don't think. Yeah, so maybe we'll do another 1x2. Well, maybe. I mean, we could just do a full-on fairy. It doesn't have to be fairy wings. Although maybe that would be better as a normal card. Well, we'll just try it. Why not? We're just going to go for it. Card creation tool. Fairy 1x2. Create that. We'll open up a sprite. Open file. Assets. Card. Fairy. Okay, let's see what we can do. Load default palette. This is probably going to be difficult. I did this on the wrong layer again. I always do that. Okay, so maybe we start with something like that. So this can be like the wings. We'll just draw the body out here. This is going to be a little bit hard. It's going to be a little bit difficult. Oops. I was drawing on the wrong one. The problem is we got a lot of space here. I mean, we could maybe draw... Like, we could maybe do a jar. Maybe? That might work. I don't know if I necessarily like... Let me redraw this. Okay, that might work a little bit better. So we're gonna have to clean this up quite a bit, but we will figure it out. Okay. New card, enemy or player. It's a player reagent. Yeah, it's a little fairy, yeah. Dusted sparkles. Maybe do Zelda fairy, ball of light with wings. Watch out for Nintendo ninjas, though. No, I think it's okay. I think we can make this work. We can make it work. Trying to draw this. The wings are going to be a problem. The wings are going to be a problem, but that's okay. Let's figure out how we can make this a little bit nicer. Okay, that seems to work. Okay. That probably works. Maybe we'll do a little bit of a darker... We'll do some darker spots there. Okay, and now the wings are going to be a little bit of a problem here. Oops. Let's lock this. Let's grab the wings and we'll just try to... I don't know. That's probably all right. We can make some more room for the wing here. Yeah, I mean, could also make the wings maybe majority white. Maybe that would help. Majority white and then... Am I on the wrong layer again? I'm on the wrong layer again. Well, it's getting there, I suppose. Maybe we'll stop with the wings for a second. We'll stop with the wings for a second and we'll do some other stuff. Am I on the wrong layer again? I'm on the wrong layer again! Let's lock those. Okay, and then for the jar here, can make that white. Okay, these wings, I need to erase this and erase that. Okay, so the jar here, this one will have to do something like this. We'll try something like that, I suppose. Actually, I wonder if that should be darker. Well, I mean, I think it looks respectable. What happens if I get rid of the wings here? So the problem is I can't really cut the wings off. I mean, I guess I don't really need wings. Maybe I don't really need wings. Let's see. Not all fairies have wings. Let's just take the wings off and put this guy here. And I did this on the wrong layer again. I'm just trying to figure out like how to render the back of the jar in a sensible way. That probably works. I mean, I could just do maybe just this. And also, obviously, we're going to probably want like a jar highlight or something. That can probably move up a little bit. This might be a little bit too long. There we go. I mean, what do we think? I mean, I think that looks reasonable. I mean, it's not... But I think it looks reasonable. I mean, it's not the best thing in the world, but... I know I have to catch up on chat, too. Sorry, I'm locked in, bro. I'm locked in, bro. Give him a little nose and call it good. Little imprisoned fairy. Yes, you will be used in my alchemical experiments. Anyway, let me catch up on chat now. This is actually the first time I watch your stream, so I'm obviously missing a lot of things, but are you working on every aspect of the game? Dev, pixel art, audio, and everything else? Yeah, I mean, I'm hiring somebody for the music, and I have a sound effects library that I use. I don't create the sound effects myself. But in terms of putting the sounds in the game, hiring somebody to do the music, I'm doing all the programming, the pixel art, all that stuff myself. So yeah, it's an entirely, or mostly entirely solo effort. And yeah, I have to catch up on chat. Gosh. Okay. A live fairy is a reagent. That's dark. Yep. This is actually the... Oh, I already saw that. Hello. Wow, we're making pixel art. Yes, we are. Hello, Shish Iris Live. 5 stream watch streak. What tool is this? Probably a dumb question, but I'm fairly new to pixel art. It's Sprite. Is Playtest live for public now? It is, yes. I get it, I'm big-brained. Just got an Acolyte with effect, applies the whole board, plus a leech that applies 10 preserve for each ritual card. Give me 100 preserve and apply 100 fire every time they went off. Oh my goodness. That's fun. Does it allow to rename those layers right there? That way it'd be easy to identify them, right? Yeah, I'm just too lazy. You can rename the layers, though. Have you considered adding a few palette swap options? Imagine it wouldn't be too hard to implement with sub viewport and a shader. Yeah, that's something that I'm considering. I mean, palette swap is the last thing that I'd want to do because I think the game just looks good with this palette. But at a minimum, I'm going to have at least brightness and contrast options so people can lighten it up if it's too dark. And if it's still a problem, then I can look at doing a palette swap for sure. One turn snail cat helped out too, yeah. No wings, it's a gnome. Wings are a must, even it's hard to draw. I don't think so. Fairies don't, like in mythology, fairies don't always have to have wings. I could actually just change the name of the card to D-Winged Fairy. Or something. I think it's fine without wings, more readable for sure. Yeah, the most important part is readability. That's why I got rid of the rings, or the wings, rather. But, I mean, I could just rename this too. I could call this like Elf in a Jar or something. Well, why don't we do that? So we'll give him pointy ears, and we'll call it Elf in a Jar. And that's it. Instead of being a fairy, it'll be a little elf. There we go. Just finished the playtest. It's really freaking satisfying. Good job. Awesome. Thank you, Mock It Up. Appreciate that. And if you have any feedback, additional feedback, please consider dropping that in the Discord. Okay, we'll rename this. So we'll call this Elf in a Jar. And we can save the fairy idea for another attempt. Elf in a Jar. The highlight on the edge of the bottle makes it look like the lower arm has a hand in the glass. I see. That probably looks a little bit better, I suppose. Oh, did the wings come back? Goodbye, wings. Okay, I'm just going to delete the wings layer. Let's rename this so I'm not lazy. And I put this on the wrong layer. Okay. All right, so what we're gonna do is we'll just create elf in a jar here. Oops. Son of a biscuit. Move that to recycle bin. Let's do this again. Elf in a jar. Okay. Oh, did that? Hold on. I'm going to do this right one of these days. I'm going to do this right one of these days. Why is that not working all of a sudden? Do I have an error? Directory for card already exists. Oh. Assets, card, elf in a jar. I just have to delete that directory and do it again. Oh my gosh, I keep messing it up. This is a real struggle. Okay, 1x2, elf in a jar, create. Okay, all right. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the fairy a sprite and I'm copying that over to the elf in a jar. Paste it here. Okay, so now here's my elf in a jar. Now I have to do the outline. Actually, I guess I don't really need to outline the elf either. Elf in a jar. Okay. So now what I can do is let's stage those and then I'll delete the fairy stuff. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so the elf in a jar. This is a reagent. We'll add some flavor text for it, dimensions 1x2. Okay, perfect. That's a good idea. You can add flavor text that necromancers pull fairies' wings for easier catch. Yeah, I can do that. I think I will leave the fairy open for when I can actually do wings on it. I just finished my run on Windows 2. Game froze because Bitdefender updated itself and I kind of lost the whole game audio. So I was playing the whole game without sound. Wonder what happened. Yeah, interesting. Interesting. Water check. Hello, Roger Random. Water checking in. All right, so that was quite an ordeal, but now we have... Okay, so this is going to be an alchemical, or this is going to be a reagent that reduces the turn cooldown. So I need to figure out how to do this, actually. I should probably... I wonder if I should just merge these into one thing. Alchemy preserve ability type. I mean, maybe not. Maybe I'll just... Alchemy, reduce cooldown. All right. So is alchemizable false, is copyable false. That's all good. So yeah, we're gonna have to implement this in the alchemy system, which means I'm probably gonna need the alchemy manager here. But that should be easy. So we could do, so we have this guaranteed and legendary outputs. We do private int, turn cooldown reduction. And then in here, actually this might be relatively easy. Turn cooldown reduction is equal to adjusted input cards, alchemy reduce cooldown to any. So we don't need this. We do need the scale for tier. We don't need any of this stuff. We don't need this. We don't need that. We don't need this. We don't need this. Okay. All output cards have their cooldowns reduced by 1. So ideally I would make this a little bit more sophisticated so that the logic is actually happening in here, but I'm not quite at that point, so we're just going to count the number of alchemy reduced cooldown we have. That should work. Hello, Shirley. Support for your playtest, not McDonald's. Oh, money is fungible, though. Okay, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. No McDonald's today. I have pizza, so... Thank you, Shirley. Thank you for the $10. When you export, do you only export to Windows, or how do you decide what platforms to support? Well, Godot supports Mac, Linux, and Windows. Unfortunately, the Mac build appears not to be working, so I'm going to try to figure that out this afternoon. But, yeah. Since Godot supports it, I just export for all platforms, and then that's basically that. I have an error in here. On auto-resolve requested. Oh. I imagine the two main ones are Windows and Linux. Yeah, for sure. Mac seems very hard to export to, hence my question. I think, so I'm going to try a couple of things. I may have to create a different workflow. So let me just make sure that there's no sensitive information in here before I show it. I mean, I shouldn't be committing secrets to the GitHub. So I don't think that's the case, but let's see. Okay, anyway, so yeah. So this is my workflow to build the playtest, and it runs on Ubuntu latest. I'm using my Godot export action that I wrote for this. I'm setting up the presets that I want to export. So these are Windows, Linux, playtest, Mac. We're doing create release. And then deploying to Steam here. So that's the build. I may want to potentially... I might want to split this up so that I have 3 different jobs, each one running on the platform that it's being built for. That's going to dramatically increase my GitHub Actions time. Like they charge you differently, or they use up your quota differently based on what platform you're using. I think if you use Windows, it's like 3x the quota, and then Mac is like 10x the quota or something like that. But that might be the way to get around certain things. So I'm going to try it. I mean, I have a number of things to try. I'm going to try, first of all, running the game from Steam on my Mac laptop. And if that doesn't work, then I'll try building the game from the Mac directly and see if that works. So it depends on how it goes, but I may have to split this up. Instead of doing it all in Linux, I'll just do each platform on its own thing. The thing that I'm not certain about is how the Steam deploy is going to work. I wonder if that's going to create 3 different branches. No, not branches, but well, I don't know. Yeah, I have to figure that out. It's going to be a long day. of tweaking the CI pipeline. Anyway, so the turn cooldown reduction now, we have that stored. So then when we do the output here, base card dot set base card turn cooldown mathf dot max of 1 base card dot base turn cooldown, and this is set from the turn cooldown here. So minus turn cooldown reduction. So that should work. And then we can test it. So let's go ahead and do that. Project settings, elf in a jar. Yeah, I use actions, too professional for my blood. Now it's hard to set up. It can be hard to set up, but once you do set it up, it's nice. Because you just fire off a build and then you don't have to worry about it. What are your resolution settings? 640 by 360 and stretch mode viewport. Like you have your resolution that the game renders at and then the res that displays it at. But how do you know what res to display at? Depends on the user's monitor, right? Yeah, I mean, you know, you can make it complicated. I'm not making it complicated. I'm just like, hey, if the user wants to change the window size or the player wants to change the window size, then go ahead. I have the minimum window size set to 640 by 360, but you can set it to any size you want, and that will make the game not pixel perfect, like, because it won't necessarily be a power of 2 window size, and so that could crunch down some pixels sometimes, but I don't really care about the integrity of the pixels that much. So the player can set the window size whatever they want. They can maximize the window. They can go full screen. The one thing I do have is I do have the aspect ratio set to keep. So if the display window is ever like out of whack with that resolution, you just get the black bars on the top and bottom. So, you know, and there are different ways to do that. Like I could just set for, you know, I could just do keep height in the display settings, for example. Because that's the most important dimension that I have, because the drawers are set to have that. But then the problem will be, so I could do this, but now I have to account for that in all my various shaders here. But it looks like the UI is automatically responsive to that, so that's nice. But the other problem too is that, you know, for like an ultra wide monitor, now you have to drag cards all the way over here, which is not ideal. But anyway, we're just gonna do keep for now. You make your game full screen, does it actually look right? Mine has black bars. Oh, yours does too, yeah. So that's because of the keep aspect ratio. So whatever's drawn on the screen will retain the 16:9 resolution. And if I ever want to support odd resolutions, that's going to be quite a challenge. Yeah, so we'll see. My black bars are much bigger. I also feel like the game looks great and crisp and smaller res, but just not as good. Yeah, it's, you know, it's something you got to play with. You know, there's a number of concerns. Anyway, elf in a jar. That's kind of actually a funny title. Elf in a jar. Oh, that ability is not working. Why is that description not working? Hello, Trevor. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. Why is that ability description not working? Interesting. Or there's like, oh, I'll just do a web export, but my game has way too many files to do that. Oh, interesting. Yeah, it's a little bit tricky sometimes. Let's see what happens. The rat, it didn't work. That didn't work at all. Oh, right. I forgot to add the ability here. That would do it. All output cards have their cooldowns reduced by 1. So this is 10, this should go to 9. Boom, look at that. All right, so the last thing to do with this is the flavor text. But that is now in the game. That is now in the game. Hey there, I may have missed my response. My question was, how can I connect and learn one-on-one Godot game development with you? Yeah, I did answer this question. Basically, the answer is it's not possible. I'm not doing one-on-one tutoring. I develop mostly SaaS apps and MVP using Mern or Pern. I want to get into game dev too. Should I start with Godot? I saw it has its own language kind of similar to Python. If I'm not incorrect, so I saw using C#. How? Yeah, C# is supported by Godot. There's a .NET version of Godot. The docs cover out how to get it set up. So if you're more familiar with C#, you can definitely do that. But I like GDScript too. I just think that this kind of a game, well, first of all, I'm more productive with C#. I'm just more used to it. And I'm used to the niceties that you get, interfaces and link and all that stuff. But GDScript is a perfectly fine language. Lots of bigger games have been made with GDScript for sure. And yeah, so I think, it's just a matter of whatever you are most interested in using is what you should use. No, sorry, champ, sorry. You are free to ask questions in the Discord or send me an email if you have questions, and I will try to respond to you, but no, I don't do one-on-one anything. I don't have enough time in the day. I have to work on the game and do other stuff. I like what you made. I saw a little bit, huh? Gothic game's always great. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm liking it. I mean, Alchemortis is going well, so just gotta get it finished now, basically. Get it finished so you all can play the full version with the meta progression and all that good stuff. Anyway, we're at almost 2.5 hours, so I'm going to end the stream there. And so yeah, if you're interested, you can join the Alchemortis playtest. That is live on Steam. So definitely click the request access button. You'll get instant access. You can play the game. Let me know what you think in the Discord. That's linked below. Of course, you could support on Patreon as well if you are interested in that. There's a couple of good perks there for you. And what else? I think that's basically it. So I may be streaming later this afternoon. So keep an eye out on the Discord for the stream announcement if I do that. Otherwise, I hope you all have a great day. I'll be back at it tomorrow for sure at 10 a.m. Eastern. And also the new devlog is up. So yeah, check out the YouTube channel, watch the devlog, let me know what you think. And yeah, I think that's it. If you offered enough money, I think he'd do it, yeah. Yeah, go ahead and shoot off the last question here, and then I gotta go. Let's see. You're welcome. $1 billion. It's going to be ultra-wide in your case. Will you ever make a video on how to make good-looking trailers for games? I don't know how to do that. I hired somebody to do my trailer. So. You're very creative. I brought your 3 Udemy courses, and I'll wait for more courses. Please make more. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Buying the courses definitely helps. I was looking for a suggestion on looking for courses and I saw your course on Udemy. Yeah, I got courses. So if you're interested in learning from me, the courses are the way to do it. And when you buy the courses, you can put questions in the Q&A and stuff. And I try to stay on top of those to the best of my ability. So yeah, if you're interested in learning Godot from me, the courses are the way to go. All right. Anyway, thank you everyone for the support. Thank you again. Have a good day. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.